Good evening. We'd like to call the March 23rd Board of Education meeting to order. We will begin by, We will begin by doing the, sorry, I just did this wrong. By the Pledge of Allegiance, sorry, I was on the wrong page. We'd like to ask Dr. Wiesreich to please lead us in the pledge.
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And we had closed session beginning at 5:45. We did not vote on anything, so now we are moving into our board meeting with a summary of an executive summary of workshops. Mrs. Galicia, please.
Mr. C.J. Nolan, Director of Facilities, Maintenance, and Operations, presented a workshop this afternoon on facilities and Measure G project updates. During this workshop, Mr. Nolan reviewed the summer projects which will either start now or be completed during the summer of 2021. These projects are playground replacements at LAE, Lee, Weaver, and Hopkinson, security fencing project at Hopkinson, a gutter replacement and dorm drainage modifications at McGaw, HVAC Pelican control systems at McGaw and Oak Middle School, as well as he also provided a solar update of all of our schools where we are at this particular moment in time. 7 of our schools have already been approved, not by the board, but we have from administration, as well as 3 of them are currently being reviewed for additional modifications. These sites are Oak, McGaw, and Lee. The multi-story STEM building is also on its way and it's being constructed as scheduled and making progress. We also discuss upcoming large projects which need to be reviewed and prioritized at the high school. These are a second gym, a classroom modernization, and the Performing Arts Center modernization. We will provide a future workshop to the board to discuss these 3 projects in more detail, to discuss cost estimates for the second gym and review facilities cash flow projections. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Galicia. We now moving on to our second workshop, and Mrs. Reed, would you like to present that?
Thank you, President Davidson. Earlier this evening, myself and teacher on special assignment, Mrs. Nadia Williams, presented a board workshop on the District 5-year PD plan update, as well as an introduction of the social justice standards. During the workshop, I shared a potential recommendation of adding culturally responsive instruction to our 5-year PD plan, and Mrs. Williams reviewed the social justice standards. We concluded with talking about next steps, where the highlights are we be coming back to the board at the April 13th meeting to start a 30-day community preview of the social justice standards, which can be found on our website. If you go to the front page, departments, education services, and the very top tab will say textbooks and supplemental materials on community preview, where any community member can download those standards. And then be coming back to the board at a May 11th meeting for a potential action item to add the social justice standards as a supplemental material, which is not a mandated material, but an optional material for teachers to use in the classroom.
Thank you. We'd like to thank both of you and your teams for doing an excellent job with the presentations and the work you're doing. We now are moving on to reports and recognitions, and we'll begin with the board president report. For any of us who have had children attend outdoor science school, we remember what a positive growing experience it can be for our 5th graders. OSS is typically an off-site retreat where 5th grade students and teachers make an annual venture to camp for a 4-day outdoor education module that is aligned with the next generation science standards and includes group activities that align with the science that they're studying in their classrooms. In addition, it's a whole lot of fun. Although we cannot truly replicate the experience of being away from home with classmates, administrators, 5th grade staff, parents, and community members have come together to provide an alternative by creating a fun learning environment for our 5th grade students. Every 5th grade class across the district will participate in the following activities in lieu of attending OSS off-site. There will be an OSS trivia night held virtually that will be led by site principals and 5th grade teachers. One special component of the evening's events will be creating s'mores using solar ovens. Each student will be given a solar oven s'mores kit. The solar oven they construct will trap some of the sun's energy to make the air inside of the box hotter than the air outside of the box. In other words, the solar oven is like a super greenhouse that will cook their s'mores. We want to express our appreciation to Blaze Pizza because it will be providing a kit for every single fifth grader on all of our campuses. Thank you for your incredible generosity, Blaze Pizza. Over their OSS week, Over their OSS week, fifth graders will not only be making delicious s'mores while learning about greenhouse energy, they will be playing Gaga Ball, which I'm told is similar to the dodgeball I played when I was a child, giving an archery a try, and participating in 6 engaging science lessons. Finally, a wonderful part of the mountain environment will be brought to every single campus. Students will get to go sledding down real snow that will be brought to their schools. When will all this happen? Weaver's Outdoor Science Week will be March 29th through April 2nd. Hopkinson, April 19th through April 23rd. McGaw, May 17th through May 21st. Lee, May 24th through May 27th. Rossmore, May 24th through May 27th. And LAE, June 1st through June 4th. We really want to thank elementary principals, assistant principals, and Melissa Davis of Ed Services for collaborating and making this possible for our fifth grade students during these times. They've had to surrender a lot, but our district is doing everything possible to give them all of the experience that we can make available. So thanks to all of the teams that put this together. Next, we're moving on to a very special part of our night that everyone loves, the student board member report. So Nico, take it away.
All right, hello and good evening, President Davidson, esteemed board members, Dr. Pulver, Executive Cabinet, and community members watching live. I hope you've all been doing well, and without further ado, here's my student board report. To start off, our ASB decorated the school for St. Patrick's Day last week and to bring some more cheer to campus. We celebrated the holiday all week long, and these were some of the decorations that were featured around campus. Moving into sports, boys water polo wrapped up their season last week with 2 more wins against Edison High School and longtime rival Wilson High School, whom they beat 21-8. And as the season came to a close, the team also celebrated their seniors on senior night. On top of all the celebrations, one of the seniors on the team, Gabe Chang, committed to Brown University for water polo, which is a huge accomplishment, so congratulations to him for that. The Lady Griffins also closed out their season with another win, this time against Huntington Beach High School. Throughout the entirety of their season, the girls' water polo team went 2-4 in league matches and got to break in the new pool. Women's volleyball also closed out their season as well. They played Huntington Beach High School in their first indoor game and last match of the season. The seniors on the team were very emotional and lots of tears were shed, but overall they were just so happy to have the opportunity to play volleyball again. Our cross-country team also raced in their league finals against 3 other teams, which were Newport Beach, Fountain Valley, and Laguna Beach. The Griffins placed second overall in these races, and if you recall back to last meeting, I said that they had previously lost to Laguna Beach. Well, they must have let that fuel their fire because they came out and they beat them in league finals to finish off the season. And for our last sport, you might have caught this game on TV because it was broadcasted by Fox Sports West. Our football team played Corona Del Mar High School and beat them 52-28. It was a smackdown and a really good game to watch, so I hope you all got the chance to see it. And since the students weren't able to attend this game in person, Los Al ASB still decorated our student section, which is now called the Los Al Locos Red Zone, with banners, streamers, and big fat heads of some of our ASB seniors. What was really cool, however, is that since the students couldn't come in person, our ASB director, Mrs. Siaka, wanted all of us to be there in spirit, so she had us write our names on some wristbands so she could all bring them to the game, and that's what the wristbands are in that picture above. And before I click to the next slide and the video starts playing, I just wanted to say I had a huge smile on my face when I saw this clip because it's not every day that you get to see staff members doing the roller coaster at a football game. So I'll let you all see for yourself. And on the left, those are the same wristbands again being worn by Mrs. Siaka and some of the fat heads that were featured at the game. And while it looks like they did a great job doing the roller coaster, they could use a little help from the students, so hopefully one day soon we'll be able to cheer on with them. But overall, the game was so much fun with the fat heads, the decorations, and the overwhelming school spirit. Moving on with some big news. LaSalle has named its new ASB president and vice president. Hannah Fackrell and Ashley Heron will be the new vice pres and president after a long, hard week of campaigning that lasted from March 8th to March 11th. And LaSalle is in good hands because these two are some of the best out there. And finally, two of our seniors, Jessica Moses and Jack Munson, were among the 106 nominees for the Orange County Register's Artist of the Year program in the category of vocal music. This is very exciting news, and we wish them the best of luck. But Jessica and Jack aren't the only two students doing big things out there. No, in fact, this week, our student spotlights, yes, that's right, spotlights, there's two of them, are making a huge impact in the community as well. This week, I'm proud to introduce you all to Sienna and Farah Odrich. Sienna is in the 11th grade and loves to sing, dance, and spends her time as a member of the show choir at LaSalle. Meanwhile, Farah is a freshman and is involved in the same activities as her sister, as well as acting. But they aren't this week's spotlights for their singing and dancing skills. No, quite the opposite, actually. The Odrich sisters actually created a website that allows students to find community service and volunteer opportunities, as well as other ways to get involved in the community. They say the idea came to them when they were looking for ways to get involved for themselves and found it quite challenging in lieu of the pandemic. After this, they saw a need and felt inspired to create a source where any and all students could easily access different ways to be involved in the community. Farah and Sienna understand that times are tough right now, and their main goal was to create a website that would help their peers find some ways to give back to others. They also tell me that creating this site was fun and quite exciting to do. Since its creation, the site has been published through the high school and is providing service opportunities for all students who need it. Farah and Sienna are leaving an incredible positive impact, not only at the high school, but in the community as well. So hats off to them for all their hard work, and hopefully we'll see some more of them during their time at LaSalle. That's all I have for this report. Thank you all for listening. I hope you all enjoyed, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you. It's really wonderful to see the kids back doing sports. It feels like we're starting to return to normalcy. And thank you for always finding the wonderful projects that these kids are undertaking on their own. It's really very uplifting. We're now moving on to our superintendent's report. So Dr. Pulver.
Thank you, Madam President, esteemed members of the board, and our amazing community. Nico, I too hope that the guidance changes over the next few weeks that will allow our students, or at least a small portion of students, to attend some of our sporting events. Starting April 1st, according to the guidance, you can attend a concert or outdoor venue, Disneyland, Magic Mountain, based upon limited capacity. I would hope they'd extend that same courtesy to schools and allow some of our students to be able to attend if we had the venue space to attribute that. So let's keep our fingers crossed and say a little prayer for that, if you believe in prayer. I hope you all do. I did also thought that I'd like to do a little bit of a spotlight on the arts. I know we talked about athletics last board meeting, and through two walkthroughs and some email from one of our art teachers, I thought I would kind of showcase some of the different things that we have going on. So we had the great pleasure of being able to, I can't remember which board members and I have been through on a lot of campus walkthroughs lately at Los Alamitos High School. And we were able to take a look at our dance program by Mrs. Ricky Jones. And just our students, both girls and boys who are in dance, are doing a phenomenal job and trying to find a way that they can do their performance outdoors. I want to thank RHA, who's also really been paramount in allowing to be able to provide this. It's really a drive-in, if you think of it. It's a premier drive-in event. It's Thorns and Roses is the title of the dance show. It is this Friday, March 26th at 7 p.m. The gates do open up at 5. And if you're interested, I would encourage you to attend. I know our students are really excited and looking forward to that. And this afternoon, our jazz teacher, Justin Padilla, who I talked a little bit about last board meeting about how we maybe are going to change the hold music on our district office phones. Well, really, it's our Los Alamitos High School, it's our McAuliffe Middle School, and our Oak Middle School jazz bands are coming together and having a spotlight, what's called Spotlight 2021. That is next Tuesday, March 30th. It is a virtual concert. They had a virtual concert earlier in December, and our students are doing all the recordings in the studio, compiling it together, along with some really renowned guest artists. So if you are interested, I'll be sending out an email to our community as well, but wanted to give a little bit of a spotlight on some of the performing arts programs as well that are going on within the next week or so. And then I also wanted to say a big thank you to what I would say is a relatively, not relatively, is a significant contribution from one of our parents. So at Hopkinson Elementary, we had, as you know, through COVID, and our schools have been open at our elementary schools since September 8th, so we have been open for in-person instruction for the majority of our year. We have staggered gates that our students enter into, and at Hopkinson Elementary, one of the gates was entrances was right along one of the main streets that, and so one of our parents who doesn't attend Hopkinson, he actually is his kids attend LAE, but lives within the community and was very concerned about either parents and students not really following the safety, speeding down the street, crossing the street to get to the gate. And so one of the suggestions that they had was to move the gate into an interior portion of the campus. But in order to do that, we had a large patch of grass that would have to be removed. And people might be surprised how much it takes to be able to, in a public school district, be able to install concrete and go through the bid process. But here's the results. Today, I was doing a walkthrough at Hopkinson Elementary. I arrived early to try to do the gate duty and just kind of welcome our students in and see exactly how this is working, and it just worked beautifully. We moved the gate to here, and I want to thank Mr. Pelayo, his family, and American Integrated Services. When we were looking at doing this, we did receive bids that was well over $17,000 in the bids, and he was able to bid it for $0 to the district. So I really want to thank him for that opportunity to enhance the safety options within not only Hopkinson Elementary, but within the community in general, early in the morning and the late morning and afternoon for the drop-off between the two different cohorts. And then I wanted to give an update on California Department of Public Health guidance. They continue to constantly change the guidance. I almost don't know if there's a week that goes by where there's not something new. But one of the things that we were frustrated as we've been sharing with our families, we've been wanting to provide opportunities to provide a full day opportunity to our families, particularly at the elementary level we had shared. We were looking to hopefully do that sometime within the spring. And then on January 14th, the California Department of Public Health changed their guidance and put a hard cap or a hard minimum in terms of the student desks have to have a minimum of 4 feet between them. Prior to that January 24th, the guidance was they always recommend 6 feet. Their continued guidance has a recommendation of 6 feet. But when you can achieve 6 feet, consider other things. That gave us more flexibility. And so I know I've not been alone. I know all of you who have been interacting with our local legislators have been really asking and advocating that the state give greater flexibility in how we can bring our students back full time, both this year potentially and next year for sure. And so on The problem with the 4 feet minimum requirement was that our students, the classroom furniture at our elementary and our middle schools have 2-place tables. And so that would be more difficult to be able to arrange. Now I've had families say, well, we're supposed to be getting more money from the state for opening up, particularly since we've opened up since September. Couldn't we order new furniture? Yes, we just couldn't order new furniture for those classrooms before the end of the school year, unfortunately. I think everybody has found that any ordering of materials has been extremely delayed. That being said, the CDC last week and then California Department of Public Health followed up on Saturday of all day. Oops, I'm going backwards, sorry. On Saturday revised their school guidance, which to me gives me a lot more hope because it restores some of the flexibility and is updating it with some of the science that the CDC and other public health agencies have taken a look at. And they now recommend maintaining a minimum of 3 feet between student chairs. Now that itself still could be problematic, but it's not dogmatic in the new guidance. It is not a mandate, it is a strong recommendation. And then in that strong recommendation, they do state that any consideration of schools implementing a shorter physical distance between students should include further mitigation efforts. And in last August, when they talked about what were those further mitigation efforts, it was here they talk about strict mask adherence. They also talk about in August about desk barriers, which we have our desk shields, ventilation, which we have air purifiers in all of our rooms, et cetera. And so it gives me hope that with this language, it provides the flexibility that I'm pretty confident that we'd be able to say we'll be at a full return to next school year, and even with this guidance here. And we're also considering, should we consider bringing our students back full-time or on a modified full-time, which I'll get into in a little bit, for the remainder of the school year. Now, that's something I think before we move forward in tackling that is to really make sure that we get information from our staff and from our families. By the time we would be able to implement it, because our families do need some notice ahead of time to make changes to their drop-offs, to their childcare, et cetera. We couldn't just spring this upon them with 1 week's of notice. So the soonest that we'd probably be able to do this would be the end of April and first week of May. Spring break is in a week and a half, so that takes up time. Our last day of school is, I think it's June 14th. June 11th, pardon me, that's the Friday. Our staff return on that Monday. And so that would really only leave about 5 or 6 weeks left of the remainder of the school year. And so what we're wanting to find out from our families and from staff is that's a big change to make necessarily, and perhaps it would require more work on families to now change their work schedules, to change their drop-off schedules, et cetera. And maybe they want to keep in the hybrid, or maybe they do want to have us have the opportunity to bring our kids back for the last 5 to 6 weeks of school. And so as part of that, we will be sending out a survey to all of our families tomorrow. And as we gather the necessary information, we still have to take a look at our class sizes, the enrollment, and is it feasible in all rooms? But as part of that information study that we're trying to do right now, we'd also like to hear from our families. And so what we're basically asking our families is for the last 5 to 6 weeks of school, end of April, end of May, do they want to continue in the hybrid at this point where they are in the game in terms of this school year? Or do they want to have us try to see, could we bring students back in a modified day, probably a minimum of 4 hours a day. Lunch, we would still not serve on campus at this time based upon some of the guidance recommendations. So the survey will go out to all families tomorrow, and we're going to ask them to complete that survey by the weekend. We'll keep it open to Saturday, March 27th. Typically, it may sound like it's not very much time for people to respond, but in all the surveys we have found, the majority of the responses come within the first 24 hours, and soon after that, probably very few trickle in. And if we want to be able to factor in all the other information that we're trying to factor to make a decision, we need time to be able to make sure families know of any potential or non-potential change. And so, well, what could that look like? We want to make sure people understand what that day could look like. So staff and students, if they were to return into a full day, would be really more about 4 hours a day. So right now they're about just shy of three hours, half of the class. So staff and students would be required to wear face masks. They would still sit behind the desk shields at this time. While the vast majority of our students may be able to be distanced 3 feet apart or more, there would be some classrooms that maybe the desks would be less than 3 feet, which, like as I said, the guidance, while it strongly encourages, does not mandate it. All students, the benefit of it, our students would attend 5 days together, combined cohorts, so a larger class size, but now you have back more of our traditional class sizes, but we'd have all of our kids together. They'd attend about a minimum of 4 hours a day, and really the only part that they're missing out on would be the 45-minute lunch period, because the guidance still says for lunch that they need to be spaced sporadically, different cohorts, and 6 feet apart. So in this model, elementary schools, while we don't have it completely ironed out at each school site, but basically our elementary school sites, they would likely dismiss between 12 and 12:45. And the reason they're different too is Rossmore might start at the earliest and Weaver might start at the latest time. And so there are staggered starts within our elementary schools, but they'd all have the same minutes at each school. Our middle school sites, they start much later in the morning. I think it's around 8:30 or so, give or take. So they would dismiss around 1:10 or 1:45, depending upon the period. And LAHS would dismiss around 12:10 to between 12:45, depending upon the different instructional model. If we continued with the block, or if we continued a different model as we continue to get feedback from our staff. But the benefit too is students would no longer be required to complete asynchronous work at home. That's also a benefit to teachers as well. They would not have to assign the asynchronous work at home. Doesn't mean there wouldn't be homework. I don't want to say that, but it's the asynchronous work. And we would continue offering, like we have already, our grab-and-go meal service, but lunch wouldn't be served. So they wouldn't be eating lunch on the campus. They would take it with them. Those, just like now, those that are involved in our after-school childcare, which we would continue to offer. In fact, we may be able to offer more childcare options because we'd have more classroom space because they're all available after the hours. Then our students who are in childcare do have lunch on campus, and it would be heated and served if they didn't provide their own lunch. So once again, I'm just going to go back that survey is going to be sent out to our parents and to our families tomorrow. It went out to our staff this evening right before the board meeting, and the survey is going to close March 27th. And then we'll have to assess both the information along with how many classrooms could we accommodate between the furniture. The other thing we're mindful of for some of our families is if you're an elementary family and you have a middle school or a high school, it's possible that we can only accommodate this at elementary under this current guidance. And so to be mindful that could you create drop-off and pickups both at your middle school and high school if only elementary. So with our elementary survey, we asked one more question is, would you still support this if it wasn't K-12? Only at the elementary level, because now they wouldn't have the cohort A and B at elementary, but they might still have the cohort A and B at the secondaries if it wasn't universal across our 3 systems. And with that, that concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Pulver. And we do thank you for the hard work in putting those surveys together and encourage parents and staff to please complete them by March 27th. The more participants, the clearer understanding we'll have about the will of the people. So thank you. We now are moving on to a very special part of our evening in which one of the schools presents a student report and a school report. And and Mr. Fayette is giving us a clue to what school it might be. I too have a lot of buy-in and excitement about this school. It's McAuliffe Middle School, and Dr. Weiss-Wright will be presenting. I taught there for 25 years, and I love hearing about what's going on now. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening, President Davidson, esteemed members of the board, Dr. Pulver, Executive Cabinet, our community members watching at home and also here, and our McAuliffe family that's viewing mostly on the YouTube. And they're very excited about it because there's an opportunity for them to get some points that we're going to talk about later today. I'm thrilled. I'm Ryan Wieswright, the proud principal at McAuliffe Middle School, and I'm so excited to be able to speak on behalf of our school in this novel year that we're experiencing. And hopefully tonight we'll be able to give you just a glimpse about some of the exciting things we've been able to do. I appreciate seeing some McAuliffe swag on our community. Our vocal and instrumental music program also made all of you stickers, and so we put those out. Not that you have to represent, but that was something special. Hot off the press today, so in your hands first. And we're going to start with our national anthem being sung by 8th grade student Samira Saman, who's one of our advanced choir students, and here she is.
Oh, say, can
Sorry.
you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. And I know that Samira and her family are watching from home. And I don't know, we can ask her later if it takes more courage to record yourself in your living room or to stand up in front of people and sing, but that was very impressive. We have a quote all over McAuliffe that comes from our school's namesake, Krista McAuliffe: "Be yourself, try your best, and never be afraid to dream." And it's more than a quote to us. It really is our school motto and really embodies what we strive to be. And I think that tonight in our presentation, as we go through the different ways that we've sought after connecting with students and helping them learn more about who they are, because we know that their middle school years are so pivotal, and helping them find what they're passionate about and helping them connect to schools in different ways, really want to be rooted in this quote that is our motto about helping kids find their way to dream. But first, I want to talk a little bit about our staff. So the amazing teachers at McAuliffe Middle School who, through thick and thin and trials, have been able to rally together for the best, in the best interest of our kids all year. And I think that we've all seen that. The work that they've done to be sure that we could open schools safely. This is a picture of us at our holiday gathering, and the theme McAuliffe Survivor is fun. It's very lighthearted. We split the staff into 2 teams. One team is red, one team is blue, and there's been a points contest all year. I am the leader of Team Blue, and we have not lost at all. Mrs. Vienna is the leader of Team Red. They are struggling immensely. But tonight, if our teachers are watching, they can email me the keyword or the code word that I'm going to say right now for 50 points per team member who tuned in to watch us live tonight. The code word is pineapple. All right, so our teachers, again, greeting every kid every day with smiles, whether it's in person or online. The work that they've done to make sure that their classrooms are ready for each and every child, that they've adapted their curriculum and their content to be taught both online and in person with a significant reduction in minutes, and to continue to show up for kids and to celebrate them, to come out at lunch, to come out at our transition period, to come out before and after school, to welcome kids, really is what makes McAuliffe special, and I just want to make sure that we shout out and recognize them for their efforts, because I feel incredibly fortunate and blessed to work with such an amazing group of people. In addition to our amazing staff, we have amazing kids, and this year we were able to expand our Birdwatch journalism course to include our ASB and student leaders. Under the direction of Miss Jennifer Bellender, these students have charged themselves with creating opportunities for all of our McAuliffe Eagles to stay connected to campus life through activities, competitions, and celebrations, as well as bringing an educational piece for students about our different heritage months and world events. But I am not the right one to talk about it, so they have put together a little video so that you can hear about the work that they do.
Esteemed members of the board, Dr. Pulver, Madam President. I'm Calvin Shea Walter, the ASB president and a member of the Student Liaisons Committee group. Imagine coming back to campus and everywhere you look, you see your friends and peers wearing face masks, you're told to social distance and stay 6 feet apart, and you're not allowed to hang out with your friends due to different cohorts. To help students adjust to this new situation, ASB's main goal has been connectivity, helping connect students through different activities, as well as being leaders and making an impact on our McAuliffe campus. In order to meet this common goal, our ASB is made up of many different departments that work together and communicate to help bring our message, connectivity. So here are some noteworthy updates and activities coming up.
Hi, I'm Amber Davis, one of the members of Community Service. To celebrate the diversity in McAuliffe, our Community Service Department dedicates and makes known Heritage Months, like our most recent one, Black Heritage Month, and our ongoing Women's Heritage Month, that's happening this month. In these months, we make slides and hold topic-related competitions, and our McAuliffe art community helps support our heritage activities with art opportunities associated with the Heritage Months. The first ever McAuliffe held Heritage Month was Hispanic Heritage Month and Native American Month. From there, our team and students have become more aware of the many heritages that are around the world and their lasting impact.
Hello, my name is Jenna Bustos, the director and member of the Spirit and Activities Department. Our job is to host and plan out-school competition. We also host many Spirit Days. The most recent ones being our Welcome Back Spirit Week in September, where McAuliffe Eagles show off their school spirit. In December, we held our December Holiday Spirit Week, celebrating the upcoming holiday that was just around the corner. And in January, we hosted a twin day where students and staff were twinning, tripleting, and quadrupleting. The most important activity we hosted so far this year is our Red Ribbon Week, Say No to Drug Awareness. We decked the whole campus in red and hung red ornaments that said students' vows of reasons why they should say no to drugs.
Hi, I'm Jillian Muller, the Recognition Director. Our job is to select and recognize teacher and staff around the school for their outstanding work and contributions towards the students in the school in general. We also do a random drawing called Eagle of the Week every Friday, where a lucky student gets recognized.
Hello, I'm Bella Kim, a co-editor of the Birdwatch, McAuliffe student news site. The journalism class was started last year, and now that it's combined with ASB, our team has been focusing on covering topics that affect our school and community. Our reporters write professional, high-quality articles on events that happen on campus and subjects that interest students.
Hello, I'm Shanti Wynn, a member of the Student Liaison Committee. This year has been a roller coaster for sure, from not only being the first year ever ASB class to also starting this year off online. Our ASB team had to adjust to this new normal, trying to communicate with our other members in different cohorts in attempts to create and host activities to make this year as normal as possible for students. It was difficult combining ideas while not actually seeing each other, but we managed. To also adjust to this new normal, my committee started picking up weekly Monday morning announcements to keep in touch with students about upcoming events that we planned out for them. We wish to encourage the next generation of ASB members to bring out their message, and I hope to continue my journey next year in Los Alamitos High School.
Awesome. And so I do really want to thank our ASB and our leadership kids, and we can't applaud them. And Shanti Wen is here. Hi, Shanti. She's one of our 8th graders, and she edited that video for us. But they've been doing amazing work, and I know that it's been difficult for them to come up with ways to celebrate and recognize kids this year, and they're just going above and beyond to make sure every kid feels connected at McAuliffe. Taking a look at what life on campus has been like, hybrid learning, while it has changed how we deliver instruction, the quality and the active learning strategies has not changed. And the energy of our teachers in bringing those strategies into the classroom has not changed as well. Whether it's a science experiment and some hands-on learning, or finally being able to play our wind instruments outside.
Oh, it worked!
Yeah, that's Mr. Lines, teaching science and building, a doohickey up there with the kids. Teachers continue to strive to find ways to provide innovative and novel hands-on learning opportunities for all kids. These are some pictures of kids doing a science experiment outside, building something in a history class, or using our outdoor learning space where they're able to spread out and still be able to collaborate and work safely with members of their class. Additionally, as you heard from our leadership students, our kids are working really hard to make sure that they're doing spirit days, mask contests. Some of these students are wearing stickers that we passed out during a week of our 21-week challenge that say, stay strong, keep going, motivational stickers to keep our students excited. Additionally, our Eagle of the Week, Halloween dress days, and other holiday celebrations are all designed to make sure our kids are having fun during their very short time on campus each day. You also heard our ASB kids talk about our Heritage Months, and I think that this has been something that we've been really excited to bring to McAuliffe this year through our ASB and leadership class, but also in partnership with our art department, where they've been able to do things like create a wampum belt, which has taken me forever to be able to pronounce correctly during Native American Heritage Month, or to celebrate different leaders in our community for the different Heritage Months as they go by. On the far right picture, you see some students playing a socially distant Black History Jeopardy game that the whole school got to participate in and went, go all the way down to our 4 finalists, and the winner won $7,000. None of it was real, but he was very excited. We also have accompanying art projects, as I shared with the wampum belts. So for Black History Month, and I have practiced saying this artist's name several times, and I also wrote it out here with more letters. Hold on. Jean-Michel Basquiat is a famous artist in the Black community, and so students were able to participate after their cohorts, both A and B, in our art class with our art teacher, Swihart, to develop these pieces in the likeness of this artist. And I would like to make one more plug for our film festival and combined choir concert coming up on April 14th. So we've done the film festival for the last 3 years. This will be our 3rd year doing it. And it really is an opportunity for kids to create their own films. This year's theme is Grit in the Face of Adversity. And we already have a few submissions, but they're not due for another week. But we're going to combine this year with our spring choir show, Netflix trip. And so we're doing 2 big screens at McAuliffe for a full drive-in experience. So we're really excited to be able to have some life on campus and to be able to do something that really recognizes not only the arts, but also our student filmmakers, who I think do wait for an opportunity to be able to do this each year. And LoSal at home, we see you guys. It goes without saying that we miss having all of our students on campus, and I think that that's a sentiment that we all share. However, it's been really impressive to me to see the way that our teachers have stepped up to make sure that this was a meaningful learning year for the students that did choose the LoSal at home pathway. And I think that it's been a privilege to work with Dr. Lepore and the supportive ed services to make sure that our kids are still smiling and are still getting a rigorous learning experience and are still having opportunities to connect even while they're at home. So through, online math quizzes and yoga in the kitchen and lots of different stage lighting depending on the LoSal at home teacher. That's Denny Phillips with about 1 million lamps pointed at her. But they took all year to perfect the way that they could look on the camera. So after this, Denny, if you'd like to go into making YouTube videos, the world's your oyster. We also have tried to bring spirit days to the LoSal at home kids. So if it's a Halloween or a holiday dress day, or wear red for Red Ribbon Week, but different activities that they could continue to participate in and feel that connectivity to campus. All of our departments have had to pivot this year, as we all know, but I think that what's really notable, and I want to take just a few minutes to recognize, are the arts and the different ways that our art teachers, instrumental music, vocal music, dramatic arts, and visual arts, have all had to pivot to find creative ways to keep kids connected and to maintain their programs. And so the first spotlight I wanted to show was Miss Armstrong and what she did this year with some of her drama students.
of all mankind.
Of such I dream, my world.
Hello, I am Cassandra, the prophetess. Yeah, the mad priestess, the crazy one, the one that no one believes.
So a couple of things about that video, and hats off to our drama kids and Miss Armstrong for putting it together. That scene where she's, that was our junior thespian induction ceremony. So we were able to induct, I think 25 7th and 8th grade students into the junior thespian society. So that was really cool. We did that in a drive-in event where Mrs. Vienna, Mrs. Olmsted, and Mrs. Bergeron all wore roller skates to deliver packages to the different cars. I did not wear the roller skates, no. Somebody had to be in charge if they all went down. And then also, I thought the music of the video was a little intense, and I shared that with Miss Armstrong. I'm like, that's a little intense for the board meeting. She said, no, it's dramatic. Oh, shoot. Is this going to play? Hold on. Nope. Tina, help me. Well, we're done. Thank you. So this video is a very small snippet, 30 seconds, of a collaboration project that all of our arts departments collaborated on, called I Dream a World, based off of a poem by Langston Hughes, but it was part of a larger unit on Harlem Renaissance and kind of celebrating diversity and inclusion and helping students really think about what a world would be like, free from prejudice or with a greater sense of unity. And I think it was really timely. So if you haven't gotten to see the entire video, it is posted on our website, and you'd be able to watch that at the McAuliffe Choir website as well. But I wanted to bring this piece to you. It's our students singing as well as our instrumental music students playing the background music, and they were able to edit that all together using some of the editing software that we've gotten this year. Sorry. Back. Let's go back and then forward. Oh. If you just click it, thank you, sorry.
Such a dream, such a dream, such a dream, such a dream, such a
There you go. And so it's a great piece. They did a really great job on it. They've never done a full collaboration project like that before, and I think that it was something that the kids really bought into. We're really happy to be able to bring that to our community. A part of that project was this social handprint visual art project. And I wanted to spotlight this for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think they're really cool. But number two, it really is indicative of the type of work we've been trying to do with our students this year, where we're helping them really identify who they are and participate in something that's meaningful to them. So in this project, they were able to do these handprints of hands making different poses and to add words that meant something to them. And so this is just a small example of the work we've done this year to build an inclusive and safe learning environment for all students. And these art pieces are just one of the many opportunities we're trying to give kids to show who they are and to express themselves and to learn more about their own identities as they go through their middle school years. Speaking of learning about your own identity, we've been very fortunate this year, and I think many of you have gotten to see it, through a partnership with the Orange County Department of Education and Children's Hospital Orange County to bring a well space to McAuliffe. Ours is called The Corner. And the well space is really a place where students are able to go and decompress. And so it's a classroom, but it doesn't look anything like a classroom. Through that generous partnership and the donation of LAIF, we were able to establish an office as well as a room where students are able to go through relaxation exercises. You see here a student playing like some musical chimes, playing with one of the toys that are in there. There's yoga mats, there's conversation circles that students have used for restorative circle work, but as well as just opportunities to speak with their peers. And overall, it gives kids that opportunity to address what might be happening to them outside of school, or maybe while they're at school, feelings of sadness or anger, depression, anxiety, and it gives them a respite from the classroom and a place to reset and recharge so that they can go back to the classroom ready to learn, ready to engage in the content. Our kids have gone through a lot this year, as we all have, and middle schoolers are going through a lot always. And so it's really been hugely beneficial to our school and to our students to be able to give them access to this place. It's staffed by our school counselor, our school psychologist, our psychologist interns, our mental health therapist who's there 1 day a week. And really, it just provides a safe environment for all of these kids. It's a perfect complement to the work that McAuliffe has tried to do recently around mental health and student wellness. We are about halfway through our 21-week challenge, which is weekly challenges specifically designed to give students that opportunity to do something good and to release those positive endorphins and to really focus on something that's not academic necessarily, but really reminds them of who they are as people and connects them to that social emotional piece. And lastly, I'm thrilled to share, and I saved it for last, but we skipped all the way ahead, that we are just recently, I recognize, yeah, thank you, as a 2021 California Distinguished School by State Superintendent Tony Thurman and the California Department of Education. And we were so excited when we got that news and to be able to share it with our school community. We know that at any time, it's great to have this recognition and this distinction, but it just feels that much better in a year that's been so filled with uncertainty and difficulty. But we continue to really be proud of the work that we do at McAuliffe, striving to make sure that all of our kids are successful and happy when they come to school. So that concludes my board presentation. We'll turn it back over to you if you have any questions.
Mr. Forehand?
Yes, Ryan and Kara, I've had the chance to visit twice, and I want to say the Eagles are in great hands. And I think Meg and I we've been on a couple of walks lately. Everybody's engaged. All the students are engaged. And the quality of work on display on the walls is incredible. And then I want to comment about the relationships with your staff and the students is so outstanding. And it's modeled by you and Mrs. Vienna, just as
Thank
much.
you.
So it starts towards the top and goes right down. But Kara, I wanted to share with you the reason the blue team is winning is I brought my bag of clothes for the shelter.
Please
I
don't
couldn't
share
even
that
get
with her,
in the
Mr. Forehand.
door without somebody grabbing it and taking it to his office. I've got a few secrets in mind for later, okay? Thank you, Marlis.
Thank you.
Yeah, what I'd kind of like to tag on to what Chris said, and the one thing that you did not mention in your presentation, probably because it is so integrated that you didn't think it was worth remarking on, but as a person who visits the schools when we were finally able to, is the increased amount and use of technology in all of the classrooms. And it's not just our LaSalle at Home teachers and students, it's all the students in just about all of the classrooms when it is appropriate, when they want to use them. And this whole situation with COVID has just pushed us all to be more technologically savvy because we didn't have an option. We couldn't say, oh, I'll learn that next week. No, I got to figure out how to do this now because I got kids coming in 10 minutes. And it seems so seamless walking through. The teachers seem very comfortable with it, are using it very effectively. And of course, the kids have been on computers and video games since birth, so they were very comfortable with it. But as a board member, knowing how we wanted to integrate technology more in the classroom because it is the future of our children, that I was just so very impressed and happy to see how it was going at McAuliffe.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, sorry, Scott, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say how impressive it is. And you came in following some tough footsteps in the principal of California, the year in California. You followed in her footsteps. And this latest recognition just shows how you've continued that upward trajectory and kept that experience and quality and excellent at McAuliffe. I do want to say that this is my 6th year at McAuliffe, but we didn't give out longevity pins last year, so I missed mine. But it's great leadership and great staff, great results. Very impressed. Can't believe what you guys have accomplished, even before the pandemic, and with all of the additional issues and complications of what you've been able to do. Bravo, thank you. Great staff, great leadership. Kara, it is incredible. So thank you very much for taking care of a great school and making my younger son's experience there just as good as the first one that went through there. So thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank you.
that deeply.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. Thank you.
Everything was outstanding. Being able to see what's going on in the campus through your slide presentation only just brought to mind first of all, your leadership with Kara and Shelby and the staff models perseverance, character, and integrity. From the very beginning, when all of this sort of collapsed around us, the McAuliffe staff rallied, stepped up, never looked back, never said no, put aside their fears, and just turned to the kids. And to see what you've accomplished, having to social distance, having to isolate, having to not be able to have the same kind of access to everything when you can work in cooperative groups all together, clustered somewhere, what you've accomplished in terms of rigorous learning, but even more importantly, the connectedness through the art and your ASB and the music. I can't wait to get home and watch the rest of and Diana, Mrs. Hill was over there writing it down too. I have a dream. We're all going to go on it. So thank you, and thank your entire staff and the families of McAuliffe for always being one whole family that cares deeply about each other and never considers a problem anything more than a challenge that you deal with together. So you make us really proud. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to share as well. I just wanted to share as well. McAuliffe is just such an exceptional school, and it is that, I believe, because of exceptional people. They have amazing teachers and certificated and classified employees who, in the words of the previous principal, but I actually believe that this is true through all of LaSalle, but I'll speak for McAuliffe, of employees who run to the students who need us the most. And I think of our McAuliffe teachers and our classified employees, and they really are just, as Mrs. Davidson said, connected and engaged and very student-centered and always have the best interests of our students. And their creativity and their passion is second to none. And it's no wonder that in the state of California, very few middle schools were recognized, and that this year the state recognized McAuliffe Middle School as a distinguished school. So congratulations really it's a testament to the families as well. And when I look at the various activities, I know that the drive-in that you have probably with the 2 videos and the Netflix, I'm sure that's been through participation and support of your parent groups as well. And so I want to thank our parents and our staff, and obviously our leadership with Ryan and Kara and Shelby and Anne-Marie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I do have one more presentation. Is this the time that I do that?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
wonderful.
We've been celebrating you. Now you get to celebrate someone.
Awesome. Well, I am thrilled to celebrate this individual, but I would like to invite up Mrs. Kara Vienna, to present our 2021 McAuliffe Hero of the Heart. There's no points available here, Kara.
Good evening, Madam President Davidson and our board, Dr. Pulver, our executive cabinet, all of our members, and our McAuliffe family that are watching live. I get the honor to get to recognize our Hero of the Heart, which is always my favorite thing to do in this evening. And my heart always just really wants to embrace these people. So I would like to invite Paulina Liu to come join me this evening. Surprise, surprise. She thought it was just her daughter being recognized tonight. Come on up. Paulina Liu has served the Los Alamitos Unified School District for the last 14 years as a room parent, PTA member, volunteer, and employee. Like so many of our district heroes of the heart, Paulina has worn many hats. But what is truly unique about Paulina is the way she makes you feel when she is volunteering. At every event, Paulina can be seen taking pictures, smiling, laughing, cheering like a football fan at the Super Bowl, even when it's something as simple as a drive-through registration and it's 750 degrees for hours. Paulina's heart for service has extended to her two children, Jeremy, a La Salle grad and current Coast Guard, and Shanti, an 8th grade member at McAuliffe who serves in our leadership program and literally single-handedly did that entire video herself, did all the editing for it. Whether working extra hours in our school's outpost, showing up to chaperone instrumental music students, or coming to help stack chairs and put away tables, Paulina Liu has been an incredible asset to our McAuliffe community and is truly deserving of being this year's Hero of the Heart. And what we love most about her is her amazing smile. And I wish you could see it because it is amazing. Congratulations, and we'd like to invite your family on. Thank you.
They like you to say something, Paulina, if you feel so inclined.
Thank you so much. This is kind of like really surprise for me because I thought that I came here for my daughter, not for me. She told me about the whole presentation, the speech for the McAuliffe ASB. That's why I come here. I didn't know, so I'm not prepared for anything, but thank you so much.
It is very true, everything that Mrs. Viena shared. Paulina, you're an absolute joy and gift to our campus, so thank you so much. And that kind of concludes my time up here, so thank you guys very much for having me.
Would anybody like to comment?
Well, stay up there for the next one as well.
So we are now going to move on. And before we do, I want to give a shout out to Anne-Marie Bergeron. She is the school psychologist at McAuliffe, and at a time when mental health is such a big focus. I didn't see you there. You're doing a fabulous job, and I know nobody has a bigger heart than you do for the kids, so thank you. We're now going to move on to a special presentation for Classified Employee of the Year, and Dr. Pulver, would you like to join Dr. Wieswright?
Yes. Yeah, I'll go to the podium. Maybe that'll be easier. So it gives us great pleasure. We have amazing classified employees, as you know, and as a district, we recognize only 3 throughout our entire organization. So this really is a prestigious award on behalf of the district to really recognize an exceptional employee. And tonight it gives me great pleasure on behalf of the district that we're going to be introducing. He already knows. Mr. Russell Mims, our 2021 Classified Employee of the Year. Thank you. So just a little bit about Russell. Russell is a night custodian at McAuliffe Middle School, and I think you've been there for about 19 years. I had the extreme pleasure of working at McAuliffe Middle School for 7 years, both as a teacher and assistant principal. And Russell was a beloved employee then, and I can't imagine how much more beloved over the course of the years. He is just an individual who just brings joy to everything that he does. He is a person who no job is too small or too menial. He does it with a sense of pride, with a sense of work ethic. Teachers and then staff just know that whenever they're interacting with Russell, that he goes above and beyond to provide a clean and safe environment, and in doing so, really just bringing a sense of sparkle and a sense of joy within his own sense of personality. He has a very infectious personality. He's an amazing father as well, and I've over the years had great opportunities to talk to him about his kids along the way as well. So just someone who goes above and beyond for all, and no matter what someone asks of him, he'll just say, yes, let me see how I can do that. He'll stay late. He comes comes early. He's willing to pitch in along the way. I think during COVID, I know we give a lot of credit to our certificated teachers, and I'm very well deserved for all the work that they've done. But really, we would not be able to have a clean and a safe environment without the champions as well, which is our classified employees, particularly our custodians, who every single night are going in there and electrostatic spraying every single classroom, making sure that every touch point is clean and sanitized. And Russell, I know more work has been added onto you this year with that, and he just continues to say yes, and I think sees the fruits of his labor of bringing our kids, and what a great way to see in our videos today. We wouldn't be able to have those science experiments where they were exploring probably Newton's laws, because I used to teach science with those roller coasters. I can't remember what you called it. I think my term was a little more scientific, the 3 laws of Newton. But we take that for granted. But that would not be possible without exceptional employees like our classified employee of the year, Russell, who's our night custodian, and really all of our classified employees. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Reeswright, who also wants to say a few words on behalf of Russell. And Russell, we're going to give you an opportunity to speak as well. I'm giving you a little preparation now.
Preparation? Okay. Something else that's up here. Okay. Well, yes, Russell, we are incredibly fortunate and grateful to have you, and you're more than deserving of this recognition. Russell is part of an amazing team at McAuliffe, but Russell also really stands out because no matter what we ask him to do, we never, ever feel like we're burdening him. He could be moving furniture out of a classroom, you know, and balancing things on top of both hands. And I could be like, oh, Russell, I need a table set up in the middle of the quad. He'd be like, yeah, absolutely, right away. And next thing you know, there's a table set up in the quad. And I think that he does that for all of us. And he does it with a smile, and he does it with students in mind. And I think that that's really what stands out, is that tireless work that most of the time kids don't see. Most of the time kids leave as soon as Russell starts his shift. But the work that he does makes it possible for them to be there every day. And the fact that he does it with such grace and with such positivity and with such a family feel about him is really what endears him to McAuliffe and makes him so deserving of District Classified Employee of the Year. So I'm very, very fortunate and proud to be working alongside Russell.
I'll stay here at the desk. But Russell, we just want to congratulate you. Obviously, echo the sentiments of Dr. Pulver and Dr. Wieswright. HR is one of our favorite times of the year, is really to recognize our employees. We know we have amazing employees in Los Alamitos Unified School District. For you to stand out above the rest really speaks volumes to the kind of employee that you are. I think one thing that really stood out to me as I talked to employees about you was that you always say yes. You always find a way to get to yes. And we love that about you. And so on behalf of the school board and on behalf of the Personnel Commission, we want to congratulate you on this recognition.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You said 4? All right, many as you want. Oh, I just want to say a few. I'd like to thank everybody. I get tongue-tied, so you have to excuse me. Just like to say thank you, and I appreciate it. And I don't really like to talk too much, but I really do appreciate this, and thank you so much.
We love you.
I love you too.
Russell, I always remember you could turn a classroom into a total sparkle, but what I always remember is that you have the warmest smile in the universe. And sometimes I'd be caught in my class into the darkness of evening, and I always felt secure because you would come by with your big gigantic smile and make sure everything was okay. Never let us go to the gate by ourselves to leave, and you're just the most thoughtful, kind person. And so I'm thrilled that you're getting this honor because you really deserve it. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're going to move to a quick recess so we can take pictures of our celebrities, and it will be a brief one, and then we will move on to community and staff participation. We will begin with community and staff participation. We have some cards and we'll do them in order that we receive them. We will break a rule because you were faithful and came back from this afternoon. Normally, we do not allow people, it's not policy to allow people to surrender their time to another speaker, but we are going to let you do that. We need you to uphold the 6 minutes for the ones that are 2 speakers in one, and then the 3 minutes for the single speakers. So please be sure to uphold that time. Our first speaker is Richard Walsher. His time has, Donna McGuire has surrendered her time to him. So you have six minutes.
Attorney at law, and it's to the LAUSD School Board and Superintendent Pulver. I believe, yes, Pulver. And dear esteemed LAUSD School Board members and Superintendent Pulver, Montesquieu, a French judge, man of letters, and political philosopher, the principal source of the theory of separation of powers, once wrote, "There is no greater tyranny than that which is perpetrated under the shield of law and in the name of justice." The topic for today is about the inclusion of the term or ideology of social justice, which is being proposed and what is being told to us is an ethnic studies course. What is your definition of social justice? I ask this because there is no such thing. The makeshift term is about the equality of outcome, not equality, accountability, and responsibility for one's own actions, which justice demands. Anytime you put a modifier in front of an absolute good, it actually perverts it. By way of example, the word correctness means truth versus falsity. When you put the word political in front of it, it actually misconstrues the meaning. In certain dictatorships, if you say the wrong thing, you will be shot. And political correctness is a term coined by Mao Zedong. So, too, is the case with the nebulous term of social justice, which is less about fairness under the law and instead entails a redistribution of resources from those who have supposedly unjustly gained them to those who supposedly justly deserve them. One political party always likes to pervert the idea of social justice by asserting its relevance to such a course as relating to certain groups asserted as profiled by police. However, rather than encourage students to follow the rules in school as well as follow the law, this narrative provides the rationale to include it. However, this is not a police reform class nor an anti-law enforcement class. If the purpose of this class is to teach about other cultures, then let's focus on the heroes of many cultures who have contributed to the American story. Many who argued for this class and curriculum stated its necessity based upon the racism that supposedly exists on LAUSD campuses. We have yet to have been provided statistics for or examples of these many instances and how this has actually interfered, impacted the education of our children. If there are a few hoodlums, rule breakers on campus, why not deal with them in a disciplinary forum and have them suspended or expelled? Another argument raised was that history in our schools is being taught from a white or a Eurocentric way. If that is true, who is teaching our social studies, history, government, etc. courses? My son had a great history teacher just several years ago here. So if the others are not teaching a diverse curriculum, then hire teachers who can, or augment the lessons with information from the Bob Woodson Foundation, Hillsdale College, the ADL, constitutingamerica.org, etc. Bring in books and excerpts from speeches from reputable sources, not those that push leftist, socialist, Marxist narratives and ideologies, like the ones rejected when presented to the state of California. It has never been explained how this course is going to be taught any differently from the current courses offered in our district in U.S. history, U.S. government, world history, world geography, cultural, human geography, military history, or any of the English courses where readings of books are also required, and information is easily integrated into the curriculum. In the first meeting, we all expressed our views and why we were against the course, and yet it appeared the decision was already predetermined as it has also been pushed by the left throughout the United States in many academic institutions where parents are realizing the dangers of its adoption. This course has been presented as an elective, yet none of us can recall when so much effort and energy was put into discussing the curricula of those courses that are currently mandatory for graduation in pre-college. Right now, our students are on Zoom and Google Classroom, many struggling with the actual social studies, history curricula, not to mention English and mathematics courses, and the scores in the state of California are dwindling. So why is this course being given so much attention and focus? One of the comments made previously was that kids have been asking for this course curriculum. Kids are impressionable. A lot of indoctrination has already been pushed on them by some teachers, friends, and those who belong to certain activist groups. While our children may want to have dessert instead of dinner, as parents and taxpayers, it is our responsibility to ensure that the best informed educational decisions are made for them. The ethnic studies courses that are taught on the college level, which have already come under scrutiny by so many parents and organizations, are the same format it appears that is being pushed into the K through 12 curriculum. To teach a course that purports to teach about the laws, history, culture, heroes, tradition of all ethnicities requires a broad-based knowledge and educational background. Yet it does not appear that the person designated to teach the class has a degree in law, history, philosophy, political science, but as to the specificity of this course is currently enrolled in the same type of courses in college that are pushing the same one-sided biased viewpoint that parents who want this course do not fully understand, and those who do fully understand do not want. As an elective, parents and students should expect that accurate, reliable sources.
Due to time, if you'd like to just submit a copy of that, I can ensure the entire board gets that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming to both meetings. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
If you want to give a copy to Ms. D'Angelo, we'll make sure the board gets a copy of the letter in its entirety.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We now have Harriet Reed. Mrs. Smith has yielded her time to Ms. Reed, so you will have 6 minutes as well, please.
You're welcome. Good evening to the board and to parents, whom I urge to do your homework on Good evening to the board and to parents whom I urge to do your homework on critical race theory. You should know that this ethnic studies course is derived from critical race theory. You may think that this course will be limited to exploring the contributions of ethnic minorities, learning cultural differences, and other kumbaya-sounding topics. However, this curriculum is a very open-ended ideology that wants to turn your child into a social justice warrior. How do I know this? The California Department of Education just voted in curriculum for ethnic studies derived in part from Tolteca cotton. That name for your research is spelled Tolteka, last name Cauahtin. You will find his views on America are quite radical. He states that the United States was founded on a Eurocentric, white supremacist, anti-Black, sexist, misogynistic, homophobic, and class-based system brought from Europe. Are these your beliefs? Two other authors quoted in the curriculum are Christine Sleeter, Sleeter, and Miguel Zavala, Zavala. In the interest of time, I will just say their beliefs are on par with Mr. Cotton. The state curriculum for this course actually lists Black Lives Matter as, and I quote, an effective social movement communities have initiated and sustained in response to oppression and systems of power, end quote. Wow. I watched BLM burn, loot, and murder, along with Antifa, all across America this summer. And yes, it was effective, as the implementation of this class suggests. But is that how you want your children to respond to perceived oppression and systems of power? By terrorizing communities until they comply? Are these your values? When I read critical race theory, I have to wonder why the authors are so intent on making us hate ourselves or each other, all while claiming it's done for social justice. I cannot say what their motivations are, but I can tell you one clear benefit of ramming this down the throats of every college, high school, middle school, elementary school, corporate America, religion, and sports at all levels. It's money. This movement is making billions with a capital B. The BLM organization certainly raked in billions. You should look it up. Tolteca Cotton was appointed co-chair of the Ethnic Studies Advisory Committee by the California State Board of Education, and they're promoting a book he co-edited as part of the curriculum. Nice coincidence, right? Follow the money. It reminds me of longtime race hustlers like Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and Maxine Waters. They fashioned complete careers in flaming race. They hustled the corporate world, politics, and others into gaining personal millions for themselves and their families, using Black people as their bait. They encouraged Black people to be victims instead of upstanding citizens and led them to reject personal responsibility because America is supposedly too racist for them to succeed. All the good they did for Black people could be stuffed in a thimble with room left over. Poverty pimps like this don't live in the communities for which they advocate. They live in neighborhoods most people can't afford, alongside the people they claim are responsible for oppression in the United States. It must be a tough life. Critical race theory is no different. Same hate, different hustle. I am urging you to not tread down the path that many Black people took who believed in the poverty pimps. I remember my mother cried when she canceled her membership to the NAACP many years ago. That's when she saw the organization and the civil rights movement take a different turn that she felt was bad for America in general and Black people in particular. We went from demanding excellence of ourselves to blaming others for our woes. School dollars are precious and never more precious than now when every community has been negatively impacted by this pandemic, especially children. If schools persist in implementing curriculum derived from racist ideologies, parents should go to californiaschoolchoice.org. This organization needs your support to get a school choice measure on the next state ballot for California. This will allow existing tax dollars to follow your child to the accredited school of your choice, such as a magnet school, charter school, private, or parochial school. It will not cost taxpayers one additional cent. Not only will it give you the opportunity to put your child in a school that reflects your values, the money would stay in the child's name until they're 35 years of age. This allows the money to be used for any type of accredited university, college, or vocational school of your choice. That's californiaschoolchoice.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Ruby Lee, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Ruby Lee. Thanks for having me. I'm a former substitute teacher for the Long Beach School District, and I haven't been able to go back to work because of the face mask policy. I think that it's very dangerous for children, especially. I wanted to read an article entitled "Bacterial Pneumonia and Other Health Risks of Wearing Masks Are Alarming Doctors." You're told to wear a mask to prevent coronavirus infection, but do you know that wearing masks can cause way more health effects, as shown by scientific studies and professional observation of medical experts? While the authorities have thoughtlessly imposed wearing face masks on the unsuspecting public Medical doctors critical of the establishment's health policies are speaking up against the mask mandate and citing health risks associated with wearing masks. In August, Dr. James Meehan warned of the serious health risks that come with masks at a press conference, the video of which he posted in the activist post last month. He summarized the health risks associated with wearing masks, ranging from skin infections to bacterial pneumonia. Dr. Meehan said that reports from all around the world are pointing at a notable rise in bacterial pneumonia amongst people using masks. He said such health issues arise when people suffer reduced oxygen supply due to wearing masks. He also told of an incident where one patient wearing a mask passed out due to low oxygen while at work and fell off a ladder, resulting in serious physical injuries. Dr. Meehan and other concerned doctors, as well as some business owners, have filed a lawsuit against the mayor and health department of Tulsa, Oklahoma, over their mask mandates. The business owners say, in light of the science showing the health risks associated with masks, they do not want to put their employees at risk by enforcing the mask mandate required by the city. In related news, a couple of months ago, the New York Post posted on the oral health damage associated with wearing masks, and Dr. Rob Remondoli was cited by the paper saying that they are seeing patients with no previous history of oral disease develop decaying teeth and diseased gums due to wearing masks for long hours, a condition the doctors are dubbing mask mouth. So I commend you guys for opening the school, though, in September. I think it's really great that you guys have been one of the first to open. I'm just very, very concerned about the children wearing the masks all day. I think that, you know, it's reducing their oxygen supply. I mean, I know all of you have to wear it too, and obviously everyone's struggling because it's really hard to breathe. I can hardly even wear it when I go grocery shopping, you know, and luckily I don't have to wear one at work. But yeah, I think bad things will happen, you know, in the long run if there's a consistent pattern for over a year of the children wearing masks, especially for extended periods. I don't believe there's ever been a time in human history where children have worn masks for so long.
Time's up.
Time's
Thank
up?
you. Yeah,
Okay.
you could submit your article if you wish.
Oh, okay. I'll submit an article.
Okay, thank you.
Just leave it on the podium? Okay. Thank you.
Thank
God bless
you.
you.
Maggie Marchese.
Cleanest place. Hi, everyone. I'm back. Thank you you're getting better at my name, Marlis. I appreciate it. Thank you, board members and superintendent, for the opportunity to speak to you again today. I return again to share my perspectives on critical race theory disguised as ethnic studies and in social justice. I warn against teaching our children that there are victims and oppressors in American society. For children of color, the teachings of victimhood will put them in an invisible box that they will struggle to escape from. Instead of striving to improve through study and discipline, growth will be stifled because failures will be attributed to forces outside of their control. Children excel when taught skills and provided resources and opportunities. There will be new victims if we teach our children that white people are the oppressor. For white children, teaching them that they are the oppressor is dangerous to emotional and psychological well-being. This is not only wrong, but also cruel. There is no winner in critical race theory. A real ethnic studies program course celebrates every contribution to our beautiful country. That is a true commitment to inclusion. Moreover, social justice is accomplished through education and opportunities. Don't waste money on consultants and programs that will not equip our children for the real world. It is a waste of money. Stick with what Los Alamitos Unified does best, igniting unlimited possibilities. I have some questions that may spark some creative ideas and address social justice. Are children of color taking advantage of the resources and opportunities available in our school district? If they aren't, understand why and address it. Are there economic barriers preventing students of color from participating in extracurricular activities? If not, understand and address it. Are children of color more predominantly eligible for free lunch? Are those children participating in activities that will open new possibilities to them? What about making it possible for those children to go to Washington, D.C.? Spend money sending these children to Washington, D.C. instead of spending money on consultants. Nonetheless, if these children are not taking advantage of activities, understand why and address it. Open the world up to them. Just a couple more sentences. Division will not prepare a child for college. Victimhood will not help anyone professionally, and victimhood will not help a child advance professionally as an adult. Do what LOSAL does best, focus on education and opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. So I believe that concludes our community and staff participation. We deeply appreciate all of your efforts in staying afternoon and evening. We are not allowed to comment, and it's not an agendized item, so if it seems like we're sitting here not involved, we are deeply involved, but it's not agendized, so we're not allowed to, by the Brown Act, to comment. We are now going to move on to action items. The first is the adoption of a resolution 2020-2021-23 to utilize the California Multiple Awards Schedule to purchase playground equipment. And Mrs. Galicia, would you like to address that?
Sure. Thank you, Madam President. Yes, this is a resolution that will allow the district to use an already approved CMAS awarded to Dave Bang for the purchase of playground equipment that we need for our upcoming playground replacements.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Second.
Move approval. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Yes, Scott?
I want to say my long and illustrious PTA career started with one of my first meetings of getting new playground equipment.
Well, thank you.
Playground equipment is what got me to where I am today.
We listened to you, we just had to get the money.
Thank you. Thanks for getting the ball rolling. Anybody else? Okay, this is a roll call vote. Mrs. D'Angelo?
Mr. Fayette?
Yes?
Ms. Cattouli?
Aye.
Mrs. Davidson?
Aye.
Mrs. Hill?
Aye.
Mr. Forehand?
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0. We now move on to action item B, adoption of resolution 2020-21-24 to utilize the California Multiple Awards Schedule contract for purchase, installation, and maintenance of equipment. Mrs. Galicia?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, this is another resolution that we are asking the board to approve to give us the opportunity to use this already approved CMAS contract awarded to Kaya to purchase equipment and installation, as well as maintenance and repairs of the playground equipment.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
I would just like to, maybe Mrs. Elvia, that you could explain a little bit. You did briefly, but I think that some people don't understand that if we're spending a certain amount of money, we have to go out to bid, and that's a very long and lengthy process. And then this allows us to, if I'm correct, to have more of a control over what that price is. But maybe you could explain it a little better.
That is correct, Mrs. Hill. You did that quite well. So this allows us, this is on already approved California Multiple Award, which is a contract that the pricing is already established, which gives us a better flexibility, as well as it gives us the opportunity to not have to go out to bid, where time-wise, it's much better for the district.
And I do remember that the Dave Bang Associates, and that was something that Myra brought to us, and that we were, it saved us quite a bit of money on all of our playgrounds, correct?
That is correct. So yeah, Myra brought this process to us. As before, we used to have an architect go to DSA, and having this already approved, it has already gone through the DSA vetting. So it's a better process for us to go through.
Thank you very much.
And then I just want to clarify, the reason we don't have to go to bid is because the state of California has done a bidding project across the entire state. Hence, it's called the California Mass AS, I forget the other acronym, multiple award schedule. So they did a similar what we would do more locally across the state, which allows districts and other entities, cities as well, to be able to entertain that. So they do go through a formal bid process.
Thank you for the clarification. Anybody else? Okay,
It saves time and money.
which
Both
is
good things.
always wonderful.
Good things.
Yeah. Thank you. So roll call vote.
Mr. Fayette.
Aye.
Ms. Cattouli.
Aye.
Mrs. Davidson.
Aye.
Mrs. Hill.
Aye.
Mr. Forehand.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0. So we're keeping Mrs. Galicia really busy here. So we move on to C, adoption of resolution 2020-2021-25 to purchase playground equipment surfacing and warranty. Would you like to explain that one?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Madam President. This is pretty much very similar to the CMAS, except this is a piggybackable bid, which a Colton Joint Unified School District has already done the process of going out to bid. So we don't have to do it ourselves. We could just use their piggybackable bid. It's already gone through the whole process. Same process. It just gives us a better time frame. We can go ahead and start using their schedule of pricing as well.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
Also moved.
Second? Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay. Roll call vote again.
Mr. Fayette.
Aye.
Ms. Cattouli.
Aye.
Ms. Davidson.
Aye.
Mrs. Hill.
Aye.
Mr. Forehand.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. We now move on to information and presentations. Dr. Frazier will be addressing this for us. It's the California School Employees Association, Chapter 324's initial proposal to our district.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I'd like to call Mr. Mitch Banalis to our CSEA Chapter 324 President up to the microphone. The podium, sorry.
Good evening, Madam President, esteemed members of the board, Dr. Pulver and Cabinet. At this time, I am looking to representing the California School Association's Chapter 324. I am here to propose opening negotiations for the 2021 school year on Articles number 3, Association Rights, Article 6, Hours, Article 7, Leave of Absence, Article 10, Safety, Article 16, Salary and Fringe Benefits, Article 17, Terms, Negotiations, Ground Rules, and Reopeners. That's it for that. I just want to give you guys assurance that I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and representing classified employees the best of my ability, and that try to do our best to get through negotiations for this year as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch. You've done a wonderful job in a very difficult time.
And for many years.
Yeah, for many years. Thank you so much. So we are going to gavel out of this meeting and gavel into a public hearing to allow input from anybody who wishes to say anything about this.
Yep, they're great.
Okay. Since there is no public forum for that, so we are going to gavel out of the hearing and gavel back into the board meeting with item C, Los Alamitos Unified School District's initial proposal for 2020-2021 for the California School Employees Association, Chapter 324. Dr. Frazier.
Thank you, Madam President. I just do want to take, I know Mitch just left, but I just want to take the opportunity to thank Mitch for the work that he does. It's a tireless job, but he does it with great pride and great passion. And I know that he cares deeply about his membership, and it's really been a pleasure to work with Mitch. He's so level-headed, he's easy to talk to, and really looking forward to the upcoming negotiations with CSEA. With that being said, we are going to also open up some articles for our initial negotiations with CSEA, Chapter 324, Articles 6, hours, and also Article 16, salary and fringe benefits. Thank you.
Thank you. So we will gavel out of this meeting and gavel into a public hearing for any public comments on this. Seeing that there isn't any, we'll gavel out of the hearing and gavel back into the meeting. We are now on consent items. These are the regular items of business. We have 11A and C through R to vote on. 11B has been pulled, so 11A, C, and C through R. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. The motion carries 5-0. So, Mrs. Cattouli, you pulled 11B. Would you like to speak to that?
I'll go ahead and move approval of item 11B.
Okay,
I'll second.
The reason why I pulled this is because I pulled this when I was reading my agenda over the weekend before I knew what Madam President was going to present in her report. And I figured, what the heck, I should pull it anyway. What this item is, it is with elite special events, and it's to provide the snow days, which we had spoke about before as part of one of the activities since our students can't go to outdoor science school. And I just thought that this was a really special thing for our children. We usually try to schedule outdoor science school for our kids during the winter because we have beach kids. We don't have mountain kids. I'm sure the mountain kids always want to do, they probably go to outdoor science school like in Long Beach or someplace, so they can go to the beach. And when my children were younger, I was always a little surprised at the kids who had never seen snow. So I always thought it was a great thing that we did. And so now we're bringing the snow to our students. And I just want to say that I think it was a great idea. And I appreciate the probably Ed Services Department and the principals working to do something like this. So that was it.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. The motion carries 5-0. Moving to action items. Our first 12A action item is the approval of a revised memorandum of understanding between Los Alamitos Unified School District and LAEA, our Los Alamitos Education Association, regarding COVID-19. Dr. Frazier?
Thank you, Madam President. This is definitely the most evolving MOU that we have, but we've done great work. We spent a lot of time. We had an additional 7 meetings with LAEA. A couple of those were with the entire executive board, just really surrounding language about COVID leaves, eligibility for those leaves, and then also our COVID testing moving forward with the state requirements and the guidance being different, that we don't have to require testing, and that we would, but that we would continue as a district because we think it's important to provide optional testing for our employees.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for approval?
Also move.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I would just like to thank Dr. Fraser and also Stacy Schmitz, who is our LAEA president, and the entire executive board. We all know that this has been a year like no others, and business is not usual. And so every change that we've made, and as anyone knows, it's been multiple and vast, the number of changes that we've had. We've needed to negotiate the changes with the teachers because we have contracts with them and we're doing things way outside the contracts because of the necessity of the pandemic. And it's been a lot of work, and I just really wanted to let everyone know how much that the board appreciates all this effort that's gone into it.
I agree. Thank you, Mrs. Cattouli. Dr. Frazier, your leadership's been phenomenal. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. The motion carries 5-0. We now move on to approval to formally reject government code claim from Hamel Contracting. Mrs. Galicia?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. We are asking the board to formally reject this claim that we received from our general contractor, Hamel, for our aquatic project. This is a claim that a subcontractor submitted to the general contractor, which we've submitted all of our documentation to legal counsel as well as our architect, and we feel that their claim is unsubstantiated and therefore without merit, and we ask the board to reject it.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for approval?
I so move.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Thank you for that hard work. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. We're now moving on to approval of warrants, which are the bills that we incur every month. And do I hear a motion for approval?
Also move. Or second?
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. We're now looking at the very wonderful part of this half of the evening, acceptance of donations from our very generous community. As you can see, we've gotten large amounts from PTAs, LAEA, and, well, both from there, in numbers from $9,671 to $250. And we deeply appreciate and here's more. Wow.
That was
$17,000 for the
cement.
The cement. Okay, thank you very much to that family. Every person, every individual, family, group, or organization that has contributed, we're deeply appreciative. And this month's total is $29,284.81, with a year-to-date total of $408,507.41. A big thank you and deep appreciation. Thank you so much. Do I hear a motion for approval?
Also move.
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Now we're looking at classified personnel report and a certificated personnel report. And Dr. Frazier, would you speak to that?
Thank you, Madam President. I am going to bring forward the dynamic duo of the classified personnel and certificated personnel report as presented.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. So that ends that part of our business, and we close the board meeting with a communication from each board member. So, Mr. Fayette, would you like to begin?
Sure. I took a master's in governance course with Mr. Forehand. Learned some things, unlearned some things. It's just interesting the amount of information that you're trying to drink through a fire hose, to quote one of my mentors. It was interesting. I have to give my cross-country plug. The little girl who wrote Milo Moves Away, Sammy Baugh, she runs cross-country. Sorry.
She what? I couldn't hear it.
Oh, Sammy Baugh, she runs cross-country.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until they did the awards after the league finals, and they went through, and she's a senior, and they did all the introduction. I was like,
I know her, yeah.
I know this. So just very impressive. The sports is great to see back. I can't believe I was flipping through channels, and on Fox Sports West, who did I see? Los Al down 14-0 to Corona Del Mar.
Who had a 17-game winning streak
Yeah,
until we showed
They
up.
were the king of the hills. We were down 14-0, and they put up 35 points in the third quarter to turn it into kind of a blowout.
Wow.
And I watched some of the kids. It's like Shane Allen caught a touchdown pass, and it's like, we played soccer with him as a thing. Just very exciting to see the energy and to see normality or a vestige of it to come back, which makes my heart joyful to see the kids starting to get some of the things that make them so happy and that they take pride in. So here's to return to normality, and I think that's it. I don't know what else I did. I did other stuff.
You
like
met with Senator.
I met with a senator. That's not as important as a kid playing football, though. So I met with a senator, did some legislative action. Yeah, like I said, the kids stuff is way more important to me. I mean, that sounds trivial, but that's really, that makes more of an impression on me than meeting with the senator. So, but yeah, no, it was a busy week, but that's all I can really remember is the kids. That's all I can do.
Oh, that's the best.
Ms. Cattouli?
Okay, I make notes because otherwise I'd forget. I had my RLP meeting and RLP, because it is another board in like its own little district. We just had our audit and our interim report, and we're doing fine financially. I was also able to be at the high school when our employee, Mrs. Kalachi, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, then our LVN, who is the County Employee of the Year.
Cassandra Palacios.
Palazzi, oh, you know what? I left
think
that
I'm
letter.
close there.
So sorry. Sorry, Cassandra, I really messed your name up. But it was really exciting that she's the County Employee of the Year. So it just goes to show what Dr. Pulver says, the employees being our hallmark of our school district, it really proves forward. We were able to do that. As far as California School Boards Association is concerned, I did attend a board of directors meeting on Zoom, and every time I do that, I really feel for our kids because I'm in front of a Zoom all day long, and I guess I have ADD and I can't sit still. But it was a good, productive meeting, and we're just moving forward with CSBA. They're doing a lot of work in Sacramento with the governor about trying to give more local control with reopening and those kinds of plans. And I was able to meet with Assemblywoman Janet Nguyen for our Legislation Action Week. We had a lot of reschedules going on. I believe Senator Umberg's was also rescheduled. And what I really appreciate with Assemblywoman Nguyen is that she couldn't get out of a committee meeting and texted the lead on our meeting saying, I want to reschedule it instead of sending in a staffer. Because frequently when the particular legislator cannot meet with you, they just send a staffer in, but she really wanted to meet with us. She lives locally, and I think her kids are in the Ocean View School District or Fountain Valley School District right now. Now going back to more with kids, I had walkthroughs at McAuliffe, the high school, and Hopkinson, and it is just joyful to see the kids there and to see everybody thriving and having such a great time, teachers and students. I was able to help celebrate longevity with the high school, Lee, and I attended a PTA council meeting, which I had to leave early because we had our DAC meeting, which is our District Advisory Committee. I understood what those little letters were for. And that is related to our LCAP, which is like our budget and our money and how we're going to spend it. And so that's coming down. And to me, the most important thing is the volleyball team. And they ended their very short season. They had 6 games. They won 4. They lost 2. And what Coach Huber does every year is that he takes his varsity girls, ladies, and they play beach volleyball. And it's not a sanctioned sport through CIF, so it isn't as big of a deal. But it's 2 women volleyball on the beach, and they play one another several, courts at one time. And all I can say is that the girls really enjoy it, and that's one of the perks when you finally make it onto varsities. You can participate in the beach volleyball. That's it.
Thank you. Mrs. Hill?
Thank you, Madam President. I had the opportunity to attend the high school longevity pin celebration, and to see that we had staff there from 5 years to 35 years is really amazing, and really is a testament to this district and the community and how we support our staff. I hope. I unfortunately was supposed to be in the meeting with Meg, but I missed it because they rescheduled it, and I had work. But I do appreciate them taking the time and being and meeting with us. Elvia, I just wanted to say thank you. I know that you went and lobbied on our behalf for our NAFIS dollars, and I appreciate that a great deal. That $3.4 million makes a big difference. And my husband and I had a glorious Friday night getting to watch the football game, and I can't explain how it felt to be, even though we were watching it on television, but it was kind of nice. We got to have dinner. It was amazing. And as Mr. Fayette said, we were down 14-0, I'm like, oh, well, he's only a little sophomore and that's okay. We'll learn. And then to come back and do what they did was amazing. And I just really want to say thank you to Mrs. Reed and Mrs. Davis and Mr. Smith for making that happen and for having an opportunity for the opposing team to be there to see their children play as well. And I know that I know a couple of the seniors on that team, and I know that that meant a lot to them to be able to do that. And it was just, as Dr. Pulver says, constantly moving the goalpost on what we could do and how we could do it. And I just, I'm really appreciative of that. And I just want to end with a couple comments. The outdoor science camp, I read that, and instead of being, I'm usually a glass half full person, but I was glass half empty when I read that, just because it saddened me to see some of our children missing out on these rites of passage that they've waited for such a long time. But I am so appreciative of everything that's being done to try to give them an experience and something special and something different, and really do appreciate that. I want to say that I appreciate public comment. I appreciate the passion. I believe that this country is a place where we have that opportunity to listen to each other's opinions and to have discourse. And it's a little difficult, I know, sometimes when we have public comment, because we can't have a discourse. And I think people expect to have that. But I do really appreciate it. I would also say that communication is two-way. And even though we may not be able to address questions that are answered at that time, if people really looked a little farther, we really are addressing a lot of the questions that are being brought forward to us, and we are hearing our community. And I just think that sometimes people think they know what it is, but they don't know the way we're approaching it. And so I would just appreciate, people looking a little farther into it, but I do very much appreciate it's much better to have people come and to voice their opinions than for them not to. So I'm always open to that. And then just wanted to say we are into spring, and we're beginning to see blossoms on trees. And I can't believe that we're a year down the line from when we closed our schools. But thank you very much to staff and Dr. Pulver and to everything you've done, and to all of our teachers, all of our staff, and to parents for what you've done this year. And when we get our school reports, I still say we are doing pretty darn well for everything that we've been through. So just thank you. That's it for me. Thank you, Mrs. Davidson.
Thank you, Mrs. Hill. Mr. Forhan?
Yes, I got two great visits to mention, McAuliffe and LaSalle High, and I only want to comment, there's so much you could comment on, but it was, again, what I said earlier about the relationships that they have with their students, and it always starts towards the top. The principals have equal positive interactions with kids as you walk around. Huge thanks to the staff for figuring out how to make a sports program come alive, but I'll say it to this man right here. I think he gets tidbits of news that he has to react to in a moment's notice that changes everything he figured out an hour before that. So Dr. Pulver, thank you for staying on top of it all. And then you do have a great team, but you're the leader of that team right now. It's also amazing to me to see the effort put in by sites to like clothing drives to support the Precious Life Shelter and the Women's Shelter of Long Beach, at McAuliffe. And I joked about bringing in clothes, but here's kids doing this, learning about helping others. It's just great. And then Hopkinson had Pennies for Patients, and to support those with blood cancers. And I think Ryan mentioned the 21-day challenge, and that's teaching the kids to think about gratitude and kindness as well. So that's great. I attended the March SELPA meeting, and you'll be happy to know that their financial audit was at the top, whatever that, and the interim was at the top. So they're managing those dollars very well. I was going to celebrate, but Nico already did it. Jack Munson and Jessica Moses are moving forward in competition. And that sounds really good. But David Molenkamp wrote, he had to write a little part to all this. And he wrote such positive comments on the two students. He shared that not only do they have the ability through the arts to inspire, comfort, and invigorate an audience, but they are humble, hardworking, and just great kids. So again, we're on a week, Dr. Pulver already mentioned it. I think there's about 6 events coming up with the arts, including the Thorns and Roses, and a shout out to the Rossmore Homeowners Association because they're making that happen at the center, and it's incredible what they're doing. And I Zoomed with them, and they recruited me to be on their side. And the other thing I heard was we have a group of young men, National League of Young Men, the South Coast chapter, and they are going to volunteer at the event. So I'm hoping on behalf of the board tomorrow night, they're going to have a little organizational meeting and go and thank the boys for helping out. And that's it.
Thank you, Scott. I was in Washington, D.C., not doing anything political, visiting my grandchildren and just being a toy for them for 10 days. So, but in between, I did go on a Lee walkthrough and a Hopkinson walkthrough, and I echo what everyone says about the joy of being on those campuses and the learning that's going on, and most of all, the connection and engagement of the students. It's outstanding. So I thank every administrator and staff member in every position for the way that they care about kids. Thank you to Tina and Dr. Pulver for organizing the agenda planning so that I could do it on Zoom from DC. And I had a little bit of my usual Zoom rough start, and you were very patient with me, so thank you. The Lee Longevity Pins ceremony was today, and I can never quite get over how joyful Amy Vento is and how much she loves her staff. Just the zeal and the warmth is amazing. And shout out to Tebby Harrington, who just received her 35-year pin. I remember Tebby and I were hired at about the same time back when we were young things, and it's amazing how fast that all changes. So. And I was on the Zoom meeting with Senator Umberg and Scott. There were about eight other districts, and what I think I took from that is just how distinctly unique our needs are in this district, because the other school districts were talking about very large homeless populations, still having trouble getting devices and Wi-Fi access, and wanting to get legislation through to support those kids, and it was very heartbreaking. But what we were able to share is that in our district, since we opened up so early, we could give them some insight into how much we need support for mitigation efforts, financial support, because we truly understand what the ongoing costs are. So talked about paying us our full deferrals, possibly lowering the employer payments into SDRS and PERS, and looking at possibilities. And I had to close with my little shtick about how I would really love to see Sacramento have a bit more clarity in their mandates and guidelines and not be so ever fluctuating, because it not only creates chaos for the administrators, for all of you who create the plans, it's a little heartbreaking for families to have certain expectations and have them taken away. But I do really want to thank, like Diane, I was able to go, I went to the girls' soccer game last night, and it was their first soccer game. It was pure joy being out there in the fresh air with other families. And I really thank our district, because, Chris, you're right. Andrew and your team, you jump on every opportunity to open another door, and you push it as far as you can push it. What I would like to see the state do is to be more logical in what they're doing, because I sat there last night you all marked the seats off. There was social distancing. People sat either in the two people, or the one spot. People kept their masks on the whole entire time. They did not get up and socialize. They were incredibly respectful, but there were a slew of open seats that could have been somebody's grandma. I'm a grandma, Scott's a grandpa, Meg's a grandma. It hurts our hearts to not see our grandkids. And for those open seats to be there, it's not because of us, it's because they tell us that families can have two tickets. And I find that to be totally illogical when I just got off an airplane with 150 people, middle seats sold, packed for 5 hours, breathing reventilated air. So I mentioned it in the talk with Senator Umberg, and I'm mentioning it now that we are doing everything we can to meet the needs of our families, including their mental health. And there are family members out there that really need to begin to see normalcy by sitting in a bleacher and watching their grandkids. So I really look to the day when there's a little bit more logic and consistency, but I thank our district for absolutely exercising every opportunity to provide for our children. And with that, we'll close this meeting and move into closed session. Thank you.